Federal High Court grants EFCC permission to arrest Yahaya Bello. Court affirms Ganduje's suspension as corruption in hearing commences in Kano. Despite positive forecast, Nigerians decry rising cost of commodities. On the foreign scene, UN Libya envoy Abdullahi Bathili stepped down and amid mediation struggles. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Muhammad Kudu Abubakar. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has granted the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) permission to arrest the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, preparatory to his arraignment on Thursday. Justice Emeka Nwite granted the warrant on Wednesday at the instance of the EFCC. The court's order came amidst a similar order by Kogi State High Court sitting in Lokoja, which restrained the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) from arresting, detaining and prosecuting a former governor of the state, Yahaya Bello. Justice I.A. Jamil of the High Court 4, who gave the order, said that infringing on the fundamental human rights of the former Kogi State governor is null and void, except as authorized by the court. Bello had filed a case of a breach of his fundamental human rights by the Anti-Graft Agency before the State High Court, also on Wednesday. The operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) barricaded the Abuja residence of the former governor at the Wuse area of Abuja. This follows an investigation into allegations of 84 billion naira fraud against him, which the EFCC is prosecuting. Joining us via a telephone call is Barrister Gabriel Adiku, a legal practitioner, to discuss the development. Barrister Gabriel Adiku, welcome to Trust TV News. It appears Barrister Adiku is not online with us. Moving on, a Kano State High Court sitting in Audubag or Secretariat has fixed May 29th for ruling on whether the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, and 6 other accused persons can be served through ex parte order. This follows the inability of the Kano state government to serve criminal charges on the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, his wife, son, and 5 others on Wednesday. This was told and much awaited anticipated arraignment of the accused before a Kano High Court. Ganduje and 6 others were arraigned before the court this Wednesday on allegation of financial misappropriation while serving as governor of Kano State, but the arraignment could not take place because the respondents could not be served personally. Parties in the suit respondents are Abdullahi Ganduje, Hafsat Umar, Abubakar Bawuro, Umar Abdullahi Umar, Jibrila Muhammad, Lamash Properties Limited, Safari Textiles Limited, and Les Surge General Services. Kano State government in the criminal suit filed against the 8 respondents said it has assembled 15 witnesses to appear before the court. The presiding judge, Justice Osman Naabba, however, directed that one of the respondents be put on notice after his client argued that the law provided that the accused must be served personally before arraignment.
On the 29th of May, yes, we are coming to hear whether, 29th of April, whether or not the defendant should be served by substituted means by placing it in the newspaper. This is what we are coming to.
Because the service of the court process is an entirely duty of the court bailiffs. You cannot arraign somebody that you didn't serve with the charge sheet. You have to serve him with the charge sheet before arraigning him before a court. It did not refuse our application, but rather said we should put one of the parties on notice.
Notice?
Yes.
Not on ex parte?
Not on ex parte application.
All Progressives Congress, APC, has reacted to the order of a Kano State High Court, which affirmed the suspension of its national chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje, describing it as a nullity and one that is unenforceable and therefore cannot be obeyed. The development came on Wednesday as Ganduje received the APC ward executives from his Ganduje ward in Kano State, who were at the national secretariat of the party to affirm their confidence in him. Addressing the world executives, Ganduje said those who purportedly suspended him were imposters. Ganduje also addressed hundreds of supporters outside the National Secretariat of the party, accused and accused the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, led Kano state government of being jittery over the party's rising electoral profile. Ganduje, who described the development as a new destructive phenomenon, said the APC leadership will ensure that the imposters and impersonators are punished.
Is when a political party with a different ideology, with different membership, is encroaching another political party with a different constitution in order to cause confusion. This is not acceptable. The history behind it is that the NNPP, they have noticed that since they came into office about 1 year now, they have committed so many mistakes, a lot of maladministration, and they have started seeing the writing on the wall that come 2027, they are doomed to fail as a political party and as a government. That is one thing behind what is happening now.
As we told you earlier, the Kano State High Court sitting in Audu Bako Secretariat has fixed May 29th for ruling on whether the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, and 6 other accused persons can be served through ex parte order. This follows the inability of the Kano State government to serve criminal charges on the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, his wife, son, and 5 others on Wednesday. Ganduje and 6 others were arraigned before the court this Wednesday on allegation of financial misappropriation while serving as governor of Kano State, but the arraignment could not take place because the respondents could not be served personally. Parties in the suit as respondents are Abdullahi Ganduje, Hafsat Umar, Abubakar Bawuro, Umar Abdullahi Umar, Jibrila Muhammad, Lamash Properties, Safari Textiles Limited, and Lasage General Enterprises. We now have Barrister Gabriel Adiku on telephone to give us his perspective on this development. Barrister Gabriel Adiku, thanks you for joining us on telephone. I hope you can hear me very clear now.
Yeah, I'm hearing you very clear. Thank you for having me.
What can you say or tell us about this potential quagmire as 2 courts' orders appear to clash with each other?
Well, it's an unfortunate situation. That's the simple truth. We must appreciate the fact that both the High Court in Kogi and the Federal High Court are courts of coordinate jurisdiction. I call it an unfortunate situation because the appellate court have ruled in the case of EFCC against Hassan that there's no court that can stop the police or the EFCC from performing their constitutional duty. In this case, this is in the light of the fact that the court itself is a constitutional authority, and then the police or the EFCC, the assignment they are saddled to do is a constitutional creation to carry out constitutional duty. So, in the case of EFCC against Hassan, the court held that these bodies cannot be stopped from doing their constitutional duty. So the question we need to ask is, the assignment sought to be carried out by EFCC in this context, is it their constitutional duty? The answer is yes. If the answer is then Kogi, not the property, with the greatest respect. And I must submit with respect that in the location of taking the order in Kogi, the point must be made which judge in Kogi State will be asked to give an order restraining EFCC from arresting Yahya Bello and will not grant it?
Yeah, but
Kogi State.
Yeah, exactly. The Kogi State government has countered EFCC by saying its charges against the former governor Yahya Bello are false. Is that enough to stop investigations by the anti-graft agency?
That is who determine whether it is false or true. It is trial. If they have an issue, they are saying it's false. Simply law. Let the law try you. It is when they are tried that the state government say it is true, it is false. It means the Kogi State government is constituting itself as a court of law to speak in favor of Yahya Bello. That is not proper. That is ill. That is not in tandem with the spirit of our constitution. Whenever anybody is accused, yes, the constitution presumes him innocent until proven guilty, but that does not forbid him or preclude him from submitting to the law. And the only way we can establish whether the allegation against him is false or true is when he submits to the trial. So rushing to Kogi, getting an order to restrain the FCC from performing their constitutional duty of taking him to investigate what they are investigating is not proper. It's not correct. And that will not help us as a system.
What, in your own opinion, is EFCC going against the law by obeying one court order and disobeying another?
I will say most sincerely and respectfully that EFCC cannot be restrained from carrying out their constitutional duty. So whether the order in Kogi forbids them from doing so or the order in Abuja allow them to do so, all of them goes to no issue, provided what they are doing is within their constitutional scope.
Barrister Gabriel Adiku, thank you so very much for your perspectives.
Always my pleasure, sir.
Moving on, protesters have taken over the national headquarters of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Abuja, throwing their support behind the acting national chairman of the party, Umar Damagum, and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. The protesters, who displayed placards with inscriptions pledging support for Wike and Damagum, alleged that some people within the PDP are trying to cause disaffection among the party's leadership. PDP has recently been rocked by agitations from some of its members calling for the resignation of the National Working Committee over failure to lead the party aright. The development comes after the NWC, in a statement by the National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba, passed a vote of confidence on the acting national chairman, Umar Damagun, assuring its members of continued stability, growth, and success of the party. The decision of the NWC, which came at the end of its 584th meeting at the party's national secretariat on Tuesday, is, according to the party, in commendation of the efforts and commitment of the acting national chairman to stabilize and reposition the PDP as the main opposition party in Nigeria. Bandits have invaded Angwar Danko village in Kakangi constituency of Birnangwari local government area of Kaduna State, forcing abductees into the forest. Daily Trust gathered that a large number of bandits invaded the community around 6 p.m. this evening on Wednesday, firing shots indiscriminately. Men and women who were abducted by the attackers are currently being marched into the forest, according to witnesses. Yahya Musa Dansalio, representative of the Kakangi ward in the State House of Assembly, confirmed the incident to Newsman. He stated that he had yet to receive full details regarding the number of villagers abducted, but confirmed that it is in the dozens. Dansalio expressed concern, noting that most of the victims were men and suggesting that there could be casualties. He emphasized the urgent need for authorities to deploy more security checkpoints in the area to restrict the movement of bandits. The Kaduna Police Command, through ASP Mansur Hassan, the public relations officer, could not confirm the development at the time of filing this report. Still on the police command in Nasarawa State says it has directed all the outlawed vigilante groups across the 13 local government areas of the state to submit all their weapons and uniforms in their possessions to the command or risk facing arrest and prosecution. The directive is in connection to Executive Order Number 1 of 2024, signed by Governor Abdullahi Sule and issued on Tuesday, proscribing all ethnic vigilante groups in the state. The Nasarawa State Commissioner of Police, Umaru Shehu Nadada, who disclosed these in Lafia, the state capital, on Wednesday, vowed that any ethnic vigilante group seen with weapons will be apprehended and prosecuted, no matter how highly connected. The command also hinted that it has arrested 3 suspected kidnappers who have been causing sleepless nights to residents along Kefi and Nasarawa local government areas of the state, and also neutralized one of the kidnapped suspects. According to him, the command also arrested 1 Shagari and 2 other suspected kidnappers along Rukubi in Doma local government area of the state, adding that one of the suspected kidnappers was from Plateau State and the other from Asakio in Lafia local government area of the state. The police boss, however, appreciated other sister security agencies for synergizing with the command and reading out the state of bandits and kidnappers. The Plateau State Police Commissioner, Emmanuel Olugbemiga Cheshina, has warned officers of the command against unnecessary phone checks and maltreatment of citizens of the state, especially on the roads, warning that such attitude by the police wouldn't be allowed under his watch. The commissioner, who was posted newly to the state, emphasized that people's rights must be respected on the issue of the incessant attacks in the state. The commissioner said the command is working to ensure more deployment of police in volatile areas, and that he will visit such areas to assess and ascertain the level of adjustments that need to be done. The commissioner also called on the citizens to remain calm and, as he is in Plateau, to restore peace and ensure that people have confidence in the police. He urged residents to provide the police with relevant information regarding any criminal activity, stating that such information will go a long way in tackling crime in the state.
Today, we have already lectured our name to respect the rights of citizens of the state. All these SSs will not be permitted. And the checking of phones, beating people, stepping on their rights will not be allowed. And as we respect the rights of the citizens too should respect the rights of the police, especially when they are invited on any criminal complaint. But on the SSs, on part of the police will not be permitted. Police will respect the rights of the citizens. Nobody will be, police are not allowed to check, to collect the phones of citizens with impunity on the basis of checking them. That won't be allowed and not permitted.
Some indigenes of Gwe West local government area of Benue State on Tuesday evening blocked the Makudi-Naka road to protest the recent killings in the council area. About 26 people in 3 communities were killed in the council area by bandits. The local government area chairman, Henry Agba, said the attack, which commenced on Saturday, lasted till Monday, leading to the death of 26 people, including 6 personnel of the Benue State Community Volunteer and Livestock Guards. The protesters accused the state government of not implementing the anti-open grazing law. One of the protesters and former chairman of Gwe West local government area, Francis Ayaga, called on the federal government to ensure that the safety of his people. He alleged that the renewed insecurity in the area was a result of the failure of Governor Hyacinth Aliye's administration to enforce the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law of Benue State, which allows herders to move freely with their cows and arms, which are then used to attack the people. The need to upscale the skills of internally displaced persons in order to make them self-sufficient has again been emphasized. These stakeholders say will reduce the burden of survival on themselves as well as on the government and other stakeholders, while also filing noticeable employment gaps with relevant skills. Noel Sampson has the story.
Globally, There are over 68.5 million forcible displaced people, with Nigeria ranked behind Syria with 6.5 million IDPs and Colombia with 5.7 million IDPs. A large number of these IDPs are in urban areas, living in makeshift communities and outside the social system. As a result of living outside the protection of the social system, many of the IDPs cannot find regular employment and are forced to beg to survive. Stakeholders say to change this narrative, the displaced persons need an improvement in their skill set to be self-sufficient.
One of the major issues that has been an issue for the Commission is to see how members of the IDPs were provided with durable solutions. And how do we do that? We have to give them the skills. We cannot just ask them to live like that. If they leave, they become criminals. And that's why the Commission is out to ensure that it provides skill acquisitions to the people who are living in the IDPs so that they can live their life, so that they can fend themselves, so that they can also be appreciated by the society.
When you teach them to drive, which can take only 1 month, 2 months, they are through. Before you know what is happening, they can be recruited in any of the paramilitary, military, corporate organizations, even private. It is a ready field for employment. When you go to the agriculture, highest 3 months, if somebody venture into farming, you discover that in 3 months, harvest is up for the man that have gone into farming.
Some of the IDPs spoke on some of the skills they want government and other stakeholders to help them upskill.
We want them to help us in any other way around. All this is, training, driving, like me now, prefer training on the driving aspect. So, by God's grace, at least for have it, we should be grateful.
I want drive. I have 4 children. Train us farming, the farming food, farming chicken, all those things, driving.
Rearing of animals, yes, like cows and chicken and so on. This will help us a lot as a woman. I have been a housewife.
To help them overcome these challenges, the IDPs want policymakers to focus on helping them achieve self-resilience. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The federal government says Nigeria needs 312,000 metric tons of seeds to achieve food security in 2024. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, disclosed these in Abuja on Tuesday during a high-level stakeholders forum on seed system development organized by the Fit the Future Nigeria Integrated Agricultural Activity. Speaking on the theme, the minister, who was represented by the Director, National Food and Strategic Reserve, Haruna Suleiman, said the ministry have already outlined a series of critical pathways to solve the food security challenges in Nigeria. He said the Nigerian seeds development required partnership and synergy among all key stakeholders that will facilitate a model of collaboration built on knowledge sharing, skill exchange, expertise, competitiveness, and mutual benefit. Farmers in Bauchi State have commended the efforts of the state and federal governments in the fight against koala birds in the state. The farmers made the commendation while speaking to Trust TV amidst preparation of the 2024 farming season. Trust TV's Adamu Imam completes the story.
As part of concerted effort to address the menace of koala birds attack, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture has assured farmers in the northeast region of adequate supply of pesticide in order to protect their farm produce from crops pests. According to the Bauchi State government, the sum of 45 million naira has been approved for the procurement of agrochemicals in response to the recent outbreak of insects and pests in farmlands across some local government areas.
So efforts have been made even from the crop protection department to ensure that they too are under control in order to protect our crops and to further prevent further spread to the other areas. For now, it was reported that it's in Kirfi local government, Alkalere, and part of Tefa. To prevent the spread to other local governments, the federal government is making efforts to ensure that they control the there and then.
One-to-one, like the director representing the minister has already emphasized, the birds that will be dropping and falling down as a result of that chemical should not be eaten, should not be consumed at all, even by dogs. Don't allow your pets and animals or even human beings to eat those birds.
Reacting to the development, some farmers in the state appreciated the effort, saying it's timely.
Alhamdulillah, duk shiri dai da zai.
Any effort geared towards tackling these queller birds is a welcome development because those notorious birds just appear and disappear. If the federal government can control them using the right approach, it will help in securing our food crops. We don't know where they usually come from to destroy our farms. We pray for better results to enable us achieve the desired objective so that we can be dependent through agriculture. The ministries say the move was to ensure timely and effective control of the outbreak, noting that scientists have estimated that 2 million queller birds can destroy 20 tons of grains in just 24 hours. However, they announced that the spray of agrochemicals will be conducted through aerial and ground control within the 9 local government areas of the state. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Governor Amadou Fintiri of Adamawa State has set up a 15-member committee to investigate the fire incident that gutted a major market in Yola, the state capital, on Monday. A statement released by the Secretary to the State Government, Awal Tukur, showed that the committee has the Commissioner of Reconstruction, Rehabilitation, Reintegration and Humanitarian Services as chairman, while the Executive Secretary of the Adamawa State Emergency Management Agency will serve as secretary to the committee. Members include community and traditional leaders, security officials, relevant government officials, and representatives of affected traders. A raging fire in the early hours of Monday razed most shops and warehouses in the main market of the ancient Yola town in Yola South local government area. The cause of the fire is still being investigated. The Adamawa State government has approved a total of 55.8 billion naira as supplementary budget for the 2024 fiscal year. The State Executive Council made the approval during an emergency meeting at the Government House, Yola, on Tuesday. The State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Nedo Geoffrey Kufalto, announced the approval shortly after the SEC meeting presided over by the Deputy Governor, Kaletalpa Farauta. Kufalto said the approval of the supplementary budget is part of commitment of the government towards ensuring that no ongoing project stops halfway. Throwing further light on the supplementary budget, the Commissioner for Budget and Planning, Emmanuel Peridimso, said the approval was due to the inflow of funds to the state. This is News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, Imo residents decry inflationary impact on medical supplies. More news when we return. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. Federal High Court grants EFCC permission to arrest Yahaya Bello. And court affirms Ganduje's suspension as corruption hearing commences in Kano. Moving on, the Consumer Price Index report released by the National Bureau of Statistics on Monday indicates that in March 2024, the headline inflation rate increased by 1.50 percentage points compared to February 2024. As a result, Nigerians are grappling with the repercussions of the country's economic downturn, with prices of food and basic commodities skyrocketing in recent weeks. Ibrahim Ismail now reports.
Nigeria's inflation rose to 33.2% in March 2024, according to the latest data from the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS. The figure represents an increase of 1.50% points compared to February 2024. The staggering inflation rate reflects the price surge of food and basic commodities in the market, pushing millions of Nigerians to the brink.
I just buy two mudu of beans, almost 5,000 naira, 2 mudu of beans. It's too expensive, which is we are buying this thing before 600. It's too expensive. So Mr. President should try to make everything easy in this country. We so far. Please, we are begging them, please.
They have not adjusted anything. The rice is increasing day by day. Like rice, a bag of rice now is 75,000, but before we are buying it 33,000. If you come to my restaurant, I used to even give people food 300, 200, so to be supporting people. So now I cannot do it again.
Amidst this rising cost of living crisis, entrepreneurs at the Wuse market in Abuja struggle to remain in business in the wake of dwindling capital and revenue accruals. These challenges are attributed to high running costs necessitated by the high inflation.
If I buy a bag of garri 65,000, how much am I going to sell a per mood? If I sell mood of per mood of 1,000, that is my money will not complete.
Like here now, where you buy before 100 pieces 80,120. Now you go buy 100 pieces 250, 220, 200. Now for market even small I'm not going to get 100,000. Even yesterday I go market I buy 100 pieces 350. 350,000. I buy small 180. I buy medium size. Some people say a fertilizer oil they use. Now it costs too much. That's what this guy at money. Like a sweet potato before, if it costs too much before, highest one bag is 15,000 naira. Now sweet potato 1 bag 33, 34. 1 bag for sweet potato. Before highest if it costs too much 15, 17 for 1 bag.
The naira has appreciated against the dollar in recent weeks, gaining over 40% from about 1,900 to a dollar to less than 1,000 naira per dollar. As the naira rebounds, Nigerians have expected significant reduction in prices of food and basic commodities, but this hasn't been the case, with cost of living still high.
The issue of the dollar coming down, reflecting in the market, you cannot expect it immediately. It has to stable for at least 2 months, because people that have went to market to buy things, they have to like go to that market again and buy it cheap before they can sell cheap. That's number one. Then number two is that the fundamental structural issue is still there, right? So if you are looking at that, inflation is still going up, right? So inflation is a serious problem that is cost push inflation. In fact, we have demand and cost push inflation, which is double jeopardy unless government really take it serious. So we, like I said, we commend them for that effort, but they must sustain that effort. And how do you sustain that effort? I can tell you we have short term, medium term and long term. The effort you are seeing that is yielding now is short term, and if other things is not fixed, it's going to be a problem. And what is the long term is for us to do more of export and have adequate security.
The import-dependent consumer economy of Nigeria has been negatively impacted by food shortages, compounded by the removal of fuel subsidy, which has sent prices to the roof. Despite recent projections by the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund showing a drop in inflation in the month to come, Nigerians remain wary of a significant turnaround. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Residents of Imo State have expressed displeasure with the amount of money they spend on drugs and other medical consumables whenever they are seeking medical attention. Some of them who spoke to Trust TV News in Owerri say they end up getting poor treatment due to the fact that they cannot afford the drugs prescribed for their treatment. Ajibade Press tells us more.
Though there seems to be a reduction in the prices of certain commodities, especially food items in the market, following the Naira's appreciation against the dollar since the beginning of April, residents of the state are hopeful that the positive development will also be recorded in the prices of over-the-counter drugs and other medical supplies.
Paracetamol, I was buying it 70, 50, but now I got it that paracetamol is from 300 to 250, and things are not going well. went to buy Pampers. Pampers I used to buy for 5,000. The same Pampers now will cost about 10,000. Right, so and sometimes, as you can see, everywhere is just jaga. But I believe in God, nobody better than the drug have been doing so many. So even say, even when you sick, you have money to buy drug, what of food? So without pleasing, maybe they should do something, because the way the drugs is going high, even us, even as you know, even as we sick, we don't have money to buy the drug, we are still high, and it's been affecting us.
For these auxiliary nurse who also sell over-the-counter drugs, confirms that the cost has truly increased compared to what it used to be in the past. He narrated the difficulties residents of the state face in order to get treatment. While some of them express dissatisfaction with the situation, they are hopeful that succor will come their way soon.
I go for the original one. When I go for the original one, I will tell you, if the original one, because the difference cannot be too much. The difference, highest, the fake one may be 600, while the original one will be 800 or 700. It's better for you to go for that original one. The only thing, you add it a little money and give that person the pure treatment, and the person will get quick recover. So that's why it's good for you to go for the original one.
My advice to the government, I don't know what they can do, but let them try, let them keep trying. They are trying, but let them just put more effort. Pharmacists to survive, to get past.
While they express satisfaction with the positive projection in the economy that is now reflecting in the reduction of prices of commodities, the residents are expecting that such will be replicated in the health sector. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
Nurses under the aegis of the Nigeria Nurses and Midwives have urged the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria to focus on improving rather than revising the guidelines for certificate verification. The nurses stated this during a peaceful protest in Lagos. The report.
Following the directives of the House of Representatives on February 27, 2024, to the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria to suspend the implementation of their recently revised guidelines for certificate verification, the nurses have accused the council of not adhering to the directives of the House. Speaking on behalf of the nurses during a protest at the Lagos State House of Assembly, the group's Lagos State Coordinator, Thomas Abiodun, said the institution has ignored the directives of the National Assembly to revert to the status quo.
We want the association to also stand up in defense of nurses instead of coercing us. These verification guidelines with stringent rules is just an act of human rights violation. You cannot beat a child and still dictate to the child how to react. There are different responses to pain. Let us express our pain. Let us express ourselves. Let the Nigerian people know how we feel. Because as nurses, we are going through a lot. There are lots of nurses that are unemployed. There are lots of nurses that are still employed, but not being well paid. Some of us cannot even fend for our families well. Yet, we are being made to go through episodes of psychological trauma, both by the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria, the federal government of Nigeria, and our own association.
Federal government should meet the plights and the demands of nurses. In regards to their verification, it should not be more than 24 hours. In regards to their enumeration, it should commensurate with the indices, economic indices in Nigeria. They should look into nurses' education and provide grants to nurse to study, and also as well to provide a better working condition for nurses both in private and public sector.
The Nigerian government should also help us to sort this out. Even if like So many people actually, as at the moment, some people may not have the resources to travel out of Nigeria. But I know in the nearest future, a whole lot of people will be wanting to make that move. So for those ones that are not moving out now, there should be remuneration, good job remuneration and incentives.
They urged the council to reverse the status quo as directed by the National Assembly so as not to be seen as a body that does not obey institutions of government.
Bayelsa State Governor Senator Duye Duri on Tuesday led a state delegation to Igbomoturu community in southern Ijola Government Area Council after the military invasion of the community in search of suspected killers of the 17 military personnel in Okwama in Delta State. The visit of the governor is coming 1 month after the military invasion. Trust TV Friday, Ebimawore Peter reports.
Senator Doyeduri, while addressing a cross-section of leaders of the community at Igbomotoro Town Hall, condemned the brutal killing of the soldiers, regretting that it is unfortunate that what happened in Delta State is being felt by the people of the community. He appeals to the military authority to continue with painstaking investigation to unveil the killers and their sponsors. The state governor appreciated the military for being professional in their operations to avoid collateral damage.
And my advice to the military is that they must painstakingly investigate the killings in Okwama to ascertain those who are culpable so that innocent people will not be sacrificed. The truth is what the Ijaw people want, and those who are behind the killings in Okwama should be properly investigated and unveiled to the Nigerian public, and they should face the wrath of the law.
Governor Doyeduri, who was accompanied by the Commander, 16th Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Yenagua Brigadier General Oluremi Obolu, Secretary to the State Government, Professor Nimbofa Ayawe, Ambassador Bolade Igale, and other government officials warned young people that the era of militancy in Nigerland was over.
I have come to meet with you, the people of Igbomotoro community, that enough is enough. In every season, there is time for everything. The era of militancy is over, and this is the era of intellectual engagement. And this is what your government is set to do, and your government has been doing. The Ijaw people are very intelligent people. We can compete with anybody anywhere in the world, and we should not be seen as cannon fodders. There are Ijaw intellectuals all across every discipline you go to. I want our youths to key into it and drop your guns.
A former member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Henry Ofongo, recounted the ordeal of the community.
17th of March, an incident occurred here when I got informed that something is happening in Igbomotoro. Because the narrative we heard that the entire place was raised down. Because the first fear was what happened in Odi. Is it happening in Igbomotoro? That was the first fear. But having arrived there, and then we can now see that it is only the place where the prime suspect was burned down.
Governor Doyeduri also donated relief materials to the community as normalcy seems to be returning to the community. From Yenagua, Friday, Ebimobowe Peter, Trust TV News, Yenagua.
Let's now join Yusuf Akogu for the business news.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogu. The management of the Nigeria Port Authority (NPA) has opened its 72-hour access window to all export trucks within which to access various terminals. The move is aimed at reducing congestion and encouraging timely movement of export cargoes into ports in Lagos. NPA also said that failure to access the port within the time frame, export cargo trucks will have their truck access ticket deactivated automatically. In a notice to stakeholders titled Important Update, Reverse Access Window for Left Predated Export Truck issued by the Management of Truck Transit Parks Limited on behalf of the Nigerian Port Authority. The agency also said that the new policy aims at improving traffic flow and reducing congestion around the port access routes. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has raised its forecast for Nigeria's economic growth in 2024 to 3.3%. The new forecast was contained in the IMF World Economic Outlook for April, released on the sidelines of the ongoing 2024 spring meetings of the World Bank and IMF in Washington, United States. The latest forecast represents 0.3 percentage points higher than the 3.0% forecast contained in the January 2024 World Economic Outlook by the IMF. IMF, however, reduced its forecast for Nigeria's 2025 economic growth to 3.0% from 3.1% projected in January 2024. For the sub-Saharan African region, while the IMF retained its 3.8% forecast for economic growth in 2024, it reduced its forecast for 2025 to 4.0%, down from the 4.1% projected in January 2024. Dangote Petroleum Refinery has slashed the price of diesel by 16.6% to 1,000 naira per litre from 1,200 naira per litre in order to support the domestic economy. According to a statement from the company, this significant reduction in the price of diesel at Dangote Petroleum Refinery is expected to positively affect all the spheres of the economy and ultimately reduce the high inflation rate in the country. The price of diesel was relatively high for months, due mainly to importation of the product from global market and foreign exchange crisis associated with it. Chairman of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, had said that his refinery's capacity to sell diesel at a reduced price will offer immediate relief to Nigeria's inflationary pressure. Stock market rebounds on Wednesday as investors renewed interest in medium cap equities. Let's see how it went down today. We see a lot of activities there among some of the medium caps equities. Ikeja Hotels gaining 10% to close at 7 naira at 26 kobo per share. Fidelity Bank, a Tier 2 bank, gaining 9.88% to close at 8 naira and 90 kobo per share. Of course, Academic a printing press 9.77% to close at 1 naira and 91 kobo per share. And of course, this has dragged down the market up by 0.1%. The marginal increase, you say, although very, very important. First time the market is gaining for the week. Volume of trade 322.655 million shares, value at 5.820 billion naira in the days of 9,074 did exchange hands among investors. This day, of course, we have some equities that did perform very well in terms of volume. Leading that table is UBA doing 54.51 million shares. Zenith Bank PLC 46.267 million shares. Of course, Asset Corporation 43.916 million shares. All banking sector are fair yet again today. Of course, some equities did not also do well today. The close of market, we call them losers. Leading that table is Livestock Nigerian PLC there, down 10% to close at 1 naira and 44 kobo per share. Computer Warehouse Group, we call them CWG, gained 9.79% to close at 6 naira and 45 kobo per share. Of course, International Energy and Insurance Company also down 9.79% to close at 1 naira and 29 kobo per share. These are the highlights of the stock trading as we went down on the floor of NGS this Wednesday. Let's see the global stock market for today. Now to the FX market. Naira appreciates at both official and parallel markets on Wednesday, even as Nigerians are saying that the price of goods and services have continued to soar despite the gains of the Naira against the dollar in the foreign exchange market. Here are today's market data. Oil prices slipped for its third straight session on Wednesday as likely higher U.S. commercial inventories weighed, while weaker economic data from China and dimmed prospects of interest rate cut stoked worries about global demand. At the London market, European Brent sells for $89 per barrel. for the oil basket. Price steadies at $89 per barrel as well. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
On the foreign scene, the special representative of the Secretary General for Libya and head of the United Nations Support Mission in Libya, Abdullahi Bathily, has tendered his resignation to the Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Tuesday. Bathily expressed his decision, citing significant challenges in his mediation efforts. He lamented that his attempts to foster dialogue and address concerns were met with stubborn resistance, unreasonable expectations, and indifference to the interests of the Libyan people. Bathily, who assumed his role in September 2022, highlighted the crucial need for Libyan leaders to reach a political settlement through negotiations and compromise. He stressed the importance of prioritizing the aspirations of the 2.8 million registered Libyan voters over the narrow interests of select few. As the world continues to tap into business opportunities that abound in the world of sports, Nigerians have been called upon to key into these opportunities in order to generate more revenue for the country. Minister of Sports John Owan, NO, met the call at a summit organized by the SWA Sports in Abuja. Trust TV Sports correspondent Adeni Ajisafe has more.
Sports as a business generates over $470 billion globally. Although various organizations and nations are tapping into these huge investments to economic growth, Nigeria to some extent sees sport in the realm of fun or entertainment, while the world is making huge revenue from the sports sector. This is why stakeholders say Nigeria needs to see sport in the light of business. At the summit organized by SWA Sport, which brought the key players in the sport industry in Nigeria together, stakeholders discussed the way forward for sport as business in Nigeria, with the theme Sports for Economic Growth, Unlocking Revenue Opportunities in Sport Business. Sport Minister John Eno used the medium to appreciate Nigerian sport women for being at the forefront of promoting Nigerian sports at all levels.
The youths remain the future, the greatest prospect that this country has. So the Ministry of Sports Development under me, we're working tirelessly to see how we can change this. We're working. By Friday or by next week, the ministry is going to be signing some partnerships, right? That for the first time will make the ministry begin to earn money from the private sector participation and involvement.
While only the statistics of how sport has changed the global business, Tony Cole identifies sport as a value creation enterprise, available globally through talent meeting opportunities, and cited the likes of Ronaldo's as testament to his stand.
Sport is a global revenue generator. $487 billion. $487 billion globally. How much of that can we redirect to Nigeria? I can assure you that if we put our minds to it, we can redirect this money, a fraction of it, to Nigeria. And that is why we're here.
According to the Mandate Secretary for Women Affairs, FCTA, sports must be well packaged in order to drive home the idea of seeing sport as business.
Through the 62 wards, the 6 area councils of the FCT, I brought together youth from under the bridge, from the most remote locations in our rural communities to the city center, and we ended up with an incredible grassroots football tournament that turned this city right side up.
The convener of the Sports Business Summit, Aisha Shuaibu, said creating a progressive impact in sport could be achieved by fostering dialogue and meaningful ways of equipping people with the right ideas in the dynamic world of sport.
While Nigeria boasts of incredible talent and passion for sports, we still have work to do to unlock its full potential. We need to invest in infrastructure, in education, in governance. We need to cultivate a culture of excellence, integrity, and inclusivity. And we need to harness the power of technology and innovation to propel Nigerian sports into the future.
Stakeholders say it is high time Nigeria began to work together to develop grassroots sport and turn it into a business that will drive home the agenda of improving Nigerian economy through sport business. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
With that, we come to the end of the news hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and join our YouTube, live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I am Muhammad Kudu Abubakar. Thanks for watching.